Good evening, everyone. We're going to go ahead and call to order the Planning Commission for Sacramento County, May 8th, 2023. If you'll please call the roll.
Yes, Commissioners Borja,
Yes. Here.
Corona Sabagnano, Tatishi,
Here.
and Wong, and Chair Rathel.
Here.
Okay, and we do have a quorum with those members present.
Thank you so much. If you all please stand with me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And if you'll please make the announcements for this evening.
Okay, and the county fosters public engagement during the meeting and encourages public participation, civility, and use of courteous language. The county does not condone the use of profanity, vulgar language, gestures, or other inappropriate behavior, including personal attacks or threats directed towards any meeting participant. In-person public comments will be taken first. To make a public comment, please complete a speaker request form and hand it to the clerk. The chairperson will call your name when it's your turn to make a comment. If you plan to make a teleconference public comment, you will be kept on mute until the chairperson calls for a teleconference public comment. The clerk will unmute you when it is your turn, and you may begin your public comment. You may also send a written comment to boardclerk@saccounty.gov, and your comment will be routed to the board and filed in the record.
And if you'll please call item number 1.
And for item number 1, we have a general plan amendment, community plan amendment, rezone, tentative subdivision map, special development permit, exception from title 22.24.630, and design review located at 6331 Filbert Avenue, approximately 700 feet north of Greenback Lane in the Orangevale community. And the environmental document is a mitigated negative declaration.
Thank you so much. I understand we do have a request to continue this item until June 12th. Is that correct?
Yeah, Jessica Brandt with the Planning Division, and we do have a request to continue from the applicant to June 12th.
Thank you so much. And do we have any public comment requests this evening that we need to hear before we?
And there are none.
Okay.
I'll move to continue the item.
Second.
All right. I have a motion and a second. Will you please call the roll?
Yes, Commissioners Borja,
Yes.
Tatishi,
Yes.
and Chair Rathel.
Yes.
And the motion carries with those members present.
If you'll please call item number 2.
And for item number 2, we have a rezone, large lot tentative subdivision map and design review located at 9850 Florin Road, approximately 2,000 feet east of Bradshaw Road in the Vineyard community, and the environmental document is exempt.
Good evening, Ms. Patton.
Commissioners, Emma Patton, project manager for the Florin 40 project. The Florin 40 project is located approximately 2,000 feet east of the intersection of Florin Road and Bradshaw Road within the Vineyard community. It's just south of Florin Road. The northern portion of the parcel includes a rural home and several accessory structures, all planned for demolition. The majority of the parcel is vacant and was previously used for farming practices. The property is currently zoned agricultural 20. However, the property is located within the North Vineyard Station specific plan area, which plans this area to develop with residential uses. The property is surrounded to the east, the west, and to the south by pending or approved subdivisions, while the north remains vacant. As previously noted, this project is located within the North Vineyard Station specific plan. The project site is bound in red on this exhibit. As shown, it is designated for single-family residential development between the densities of 3 dwelling units to 5 dwelling units per acre. Here you can see a tighter snapshot of the project site within its surrounding context of planned land uses within the North Vineyard Station specific plan area. I'll actually go back to that slide for a moment. On this slide, you'll note that to the east is a planned school and a larger park site. The applicant requests a rezone, a large lot tentative subdivision map, a small lot tentative subdivision map, and a design review. I will provide some additional detail on each of these requests on the slides to follow. The project is considered exempt from CEQA due to its conformity with the previously approved North Vineyard Station specific plan. The project would be required to implement all applicable mitigation as adopted as a part of the approval of the specific plan. Here is the rezone exhibit. The project requests a rezone from agricultural 20 to RD5 and open space zoning districts in compliance with the specific plan land use designations. I do want to note a minor discrepancy. The annotation on this slide should read 38.6 acres of RD5 and 2.4 acres of open space. The exhibit, the graphic on the exhibit does show it correctly. This is the zoning allocation that is also provided within the staff report and the zoning ordinance that was attached to the staff report as well. The applicant proposes a large lot tentative subdivision map as shown on this exhibit. On this slide, north or Florin 40 is to the right of your screen. The large lot map is for the purposes of phasing and financing only. No development would be proposed on these large lots. As shown, there would be 3 large lot parcels. Here's the proposed tentative subdivision map, again with north to the right of your screen. The subdivision map proposes 193 single-family residential lots, a 2.36 acre park lot to be dedicated to Southgate Recreation and Park District, and 4 landscape corridor lots adjacent to primary thoroughfares and collectors containing separated sidewalks also to be dedicated to Southgate. I do want to note that while preparing this tentative subdivision map, the applicant coordinated with county staff and Southgate Recreation and Park District to provide a park site that approximately doubles the parkland compared to what was originally anticipated within the specific plan land use diagram. The applicant also worked closely with county staff and our neighboring applicants who are processing subdivision map applications both to the east and west to coordinate circulation patterns to provide for good access to the planned larger park and school site that I noted just to the west of, or to the east of the site. The Florin 40 subdivision features a hierarchy of roadways. Florin Road is shown in purple and would be a 48-foot half section with a center median, 3 travel lanes, and a bike lane. Adjacent to it would be a 25-foot wide landscape corridor, which would feature a separated sidewalk within it. 9th and 10th Street are located in red, or located on the southerly portion of the property and are shown in red and dark blue. Each of these streets would serve as collectors to connect to other planned subdivisions and major roadways within the North Vineyard Station specific plan area. Both 9th and 10th Street would also feature a 25-foot wide landscape corridor featuring a separated sidewalk. Those landscape corridors similarly would be dedicated to Southgate. The light blue streets are considered primary residential streets and provide wider streets and on-street parking, which would connect to adjacent subdivisions. And all other streets are considered minor residential streets, which are planned in a grid-like pattern for ease of navigability and circulation. The DRAC considered this application in May of 2022 and recommended that the project be found in substantial compliance with the countywide design guidelines. Also, the Vineyard CPAC met in July 2022 and recommends that the board approve the requested entitlements. Based on the support by the DRAC and the CPAC, the project's consistency with applicable planning documents, including the North Vineyard Station specific plan, the project's compliance with applicable codes and ordinances, the subdivision's coordination with adjacent pending applications in regards to circulation, the addition of the parkland in excess of what is anticipated by the specific plan. Staff is recommending approval of the application as requested. Specifically, staff recommends that the board recognize the exempt status of the request under Public Resources Code 21155.4. This is due to its conformity with the North Vineyard Station specific plan as adopted. That the board adopt the mitigation monitoring and reporting program, that the board approve the rezone ordinance, that the board approve the large lot tentative subdivision map, approve the small lot tentative subdivision map, and find the project in substantial compliance with the design guidelines. Your recommendation today is to the Board of Supervisors. I'm happy to answer any questions that you might have, and the project applicant is also in the audience. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Questions for staff this evening? All right. Can you just walk me through the park acreage? I'm just, from what I saw in the conditions, we're still short of what the Quimby allotment should be for this amount of homes. And so I'm just kind of curious, the various numbers. I'm just trying to make sure I have it straight in my head.
Sure. So according to the specific plan land use diagram, that specific plan land use diagram identifies a 1 acre park site on the Florin 40 project site. Given that there are a number of properties, not necessarily the Florin 40 project, but other applications moving forward within the North Vineyard Station specific plan that are planning on increasing the density of those project sites, Southgate Recreation and Park District has been asking for park land in excess of what is shown on the land use plan exhibit to meet their parkland requirements and serve the additional residents that they're expecting due to the increase in density that other projects are proposing. So the Quimby requirement for the Florin 40 project, according to condition 95 of Southgate's conditions, is that they would be responsible for 2.88 net acres. The applicant would be providing the 2.36 net acre property. That would result in there being some in lieu fees required in addition to the parkland dedication, but it would still be beyond what was originally anticipated by the land use plan.
And is that because the density was expected to be lower in Florin 40 in this specific plan?
The density for the Florin 40 project was planned to be anywhere between 3 to 5 dwelling units. The proposed project is at RD5 and is within that planned range. However, there's other projects surrounding this Florin 40 project where density is planned to increase, and Southgate, anticipating that increased density, is looking for a number of ways in which they can increase their parkland allocation by asking for additional parkland dedication. One of the ways in which they did this was by asking the Florin 40 to get closer to meeting their full Quimby land dedication with the park site. So the applicant was able to get to 2.36 acres as opposed to, I think, what was originally proposed as a 1 acre park site.
Okay, thank you for that background. Appreciate it. Any other questions for staff?
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Patton. At this time, I'd like to invite the applicant up to address the commission this evening. If there's multiple members of the applicant team, we can get you all sworn in at once. Come on down. If there's a chance you may ask a question, we'd rather just get you sworn in together.
Thank you both. And if you'll please raise your right hands and the appropriate responses, I do. Do you swear that the testimony you're about to give the commission is the truth, so help you God? And if you do not swear, do you so affirm?
I do.
Okay. And if you'll please state your names for the record and make the statement, I have been sworn.
Bruce Walters, I have been sworn.
Thank you.
Les Hawk, I have been sworn.
Thank you.
Thank you, gentlemen. The floor is yours.
Thank you. Bruce Walters, Walters Land Planning, and I have been sworn. I'm the applicant. Les Hawk represents the property owners. We've been at this for quite some time. As Emma described, we've been coordinating with transportation, circulation, drainage, and then the park site design. I think everything is in order tonight. We're in agreement with the conditions of approval and look forward to moving forward with this project. Here to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you so much. Questions for the applicant this evening?
Just thank you for reaching out, Mr. Walters. Really appreciate it. Just wondering, for the park, I would imagine that would be a turnkey agreement that you would have with the with Southgate.
The turnkey is an option. It's in the condition. It's not mandatory. This developer will most likely not be building it. A home builder will typically acquire the project and build it. So that's usually something that the home builder would choose to pursue. So that option is available, but I just can't commit one way or the other at this point.
Okay, thank you. No other questions.
If I understood, is there a phasing portion of this? Do you guys expect to develop the north side before the south side? Or I'm just kind of curious about the fire access, basically, in the comments in the report on that.
Sure, yeah. Well, a phasing would be a little conflicted in the sense that the drainage goes to the south, the sewer goes to the north. It's a long, narrow parcel, and the easy answer would be the north third will go first. It provides 2 points of access off of Florin Road and meets the requirements. The Murphy property to the south of this is expected to develop probably in advance of this project, so that will provide an opportunity for a street connection to the south. That being said, there's 2 other properties, similar shaped properties, east and west. I call them the Saka twins. I don't know if you remember the towers, Saka Towers downtown. Anyway, they're going through the process, and it's very likely that whatever home builder buys this project will also be buying the 2 adjacent properties, which widens things out and changes the possible circulation and phasing opportunities. Short answer is, I don't know.
Fair enough. Well, gives me assurance that you guys are thinking about this way more, so I appreciate it.
Okay?
Have a good night.
Thank you.
All right, we'll move on to public comment.
And there are no public comments.
All right, with that, we'll close public comment and move on to deliberation.
I am willing to support and move the staff recommendation. I do have one quick comment. There's some language in there that did say that as part of the transportation mitigation, certain costs were deferred for future investment, or I want to say for future development, to help expedite the housing and development to occur much sooner than later. So I know my community members, both from the CPAC and the Florin neighborhood, have had concerns about the widening and the traffic. And while I'm supportive of the project, I really do hope that some of those improvements, at the very least, can materialize once we do hit those critical numbers. But with that, I have no problems with the map, and so thank you for reaching out, and yeah, supportive of the project.
That's
So
a motion, right?
That is a motion, yes.
I'll second.
All right, we have a motion and a second for staff recommendation. Will you
Okay.
please call the roll?
Absolutely. Commissioners Borja,
Yes.
Tatishi,
Yes.
and Chair Rathel.
Yes.
And the motion does carry.
All right, that concludes item number 2 this evening. We'll move on to the planning director's report.
Okay, good evening. Jessica Brandt with Planning, and I don't have anything to report. It's pretty
All
quiet.
right. Miscellaneous scheduling items. So this is an item for all of us. Anyone not going to be here?
Yes, that was the next. So it looks like the May 22nd meeting, we do have 4 items on the agenda. One is a District 2 item, one is a District 4, and one is a countywide kind of receive and file. Or not receive and file, it's not the right word. Countywide review. It's the Capital Improvement Program General Plan review. And so I believe,
I'll be absent.
yeah, Commissioner Tatishi will be absent. Okay. But it doesn't sound like we know of any other absences at this point. Okay. And then looking forward into June, we do have fairly full agendas coming up if everything stays on track. Looks like 5 items for the June 12th and 4 items for June 26th. And I know Chair Rathel will be here on the 12th.
Yeah, it looks like I'll be back in
You'll
town
be back, okay.
that day. So there's still a possibility, but I should be back.
The 26th, I have to be in Vermont, so
Okay,
I will be unavailable.
all right.
I'll be here.
Okay, good, thank you. Okay, that's just helpful as we look forward to the summer. And that's all I have today. Thank you.
Brad, I just have one quick question. For the CIP, would that plan, or did that already go through like the budget process, or is that prior to the budget process for the capital improvement plan? Or is that your every annual year review?
Yes, so I am actually not familiar with the capital improvement plan.
Okay.
I do know that what is brought to you is the set of particular improvements that they're looking at for the next year to make sure that they're consistent with the general plan. So I think in sort of an overall. I think it has been brought through the board for approval, but as far as the actual budget numbers getting put down, I'm not sure. So that would be a good question for Young Choi, who's bringing it next time.
Understood.
Yeah.
I'll email ahead. Thank you so much.
Okay.
All right, general public comments this evening?
And there are no public comments.
All right, with that, we'll adjourn at 5:51 p.m. Have a great night, everyone.
Thank you.